What is going on, everybody? It's the Thoughts, and we're here for AEW on TNT Episode 3 review. As we are in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania this week, Darby Allin will take on Chris Jericho for the AEW Championship. Riho versus Britt Baker for the AEW Women's World Championship, and 2 matches in the Tag Team Tournament. Also, Kenny Omega and Hangman Page versus Pac and Jon Moxley. And this and so much more this week on AEW. Before this show went on the air, we got a little bit of a bad news and bad break for the title tournament. It came out that Luchasaurus is injured. Luchasaurus was injured, hamstring, I don't know how, but Luchasaurus is down with a hamstring, so it was Marco Stunt and Jungle Boy as your tag team for the Jurassic Express versus the Lucha Bros. Which, in my opinion, when we got to the match, it was like, oh, man, this is a bummer. Luchasaurus versus with these guys would have been fantastic to see what he was going to do with these guys, and unfortunately, that did not happen. So here we had Marco Stunt and Jungle Boy versus the Lucha Bros. That would be later on in the show. We started the show off, and it was supposed to be the SCU versus Best Friends tag team match, but the Lucha Bros had different plans, as it was supposed to be Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels versus the Best Friends, Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta. And again, the Lucha Bros, Phoenix and Pentagon Jr. come out and just waste SCU, hitting a Pentagon package power driver on the ramp to Christopher Daniels, and if you go and watch the replays, Daniels' head actually smacks off of the ramp, so he was done. The Scorpio Sky runs down as they were going to do the same thing to Kazarian, but he runs down and chases them away. Matt and Nick come out, Shima comes out, the referees and other personnel come out. They're all checking on Daniels, and they get him on a board. And they take him out. Scorpio Sky talks to Rick Knox and gets himself into the match. Daniels had his bag there or something, so he grabbed some tape and he taped up. He was not scheduled to wrestle, so he wasn't ready to wrestle. He had jeans on, he had tennis shoes on, he had an SCU shirt on that looked like it was in the style of the AEW logo, but only it said SCU instead. Took the shirt off, taped his arms up as the Best Friends were coming down. So it was a SoCal Uncensored versus Best Friends tag team match. Scorpio Sky and Kazarian versus Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta. Now, I'm not going to be one of those guys who compares the tournament matches against each other, because that's not fair, because it's going to be kind of hard to beat what we had last week with the Private Party and Young Bucks match, because quite honestly, that was a fantastic match. However, this match was good. Yes, I don't know what's happened to Kazarian, but if he really was injured before this match, or was injured in the brawl, but he was absolutely hurt during the majority of this match. Scorpio Sky, he took the heat, of course. Scorpio Sky came in to run the save. Things break down towards the end. Let's see here. Sky stops, then sends Taylor into the barricade. Kazarian backdrops Trent onto the apron. Sky tags in. They do a powerbomb drop kick. They tried to do a powerbomb drop kick combination, and I don't know why they did this, but when you look at it, because Kazarian was the one powerbombing Trent Beretta, and by the time he hits the mat, Beretta hits the mat, Scorpio hits the drop kick after he hits the mat. It just looked kind of dumb. 1, 2, 3, and SCU win by pinfall. I don't know why they took out Christopher Daniels. Maybe he's injured. Maybe they wanted to set up the beef between these two teams. Maybe somewhere down the line maybe the tag team title finals will be SCU versus the Lucha Bros for a revenge match for the titles. I have no idea. I don't know if Christopher Daniels is injured. If there is any information, I'll let you know at a later time. Maybe on Unscripted this Sunday. But SCU makes it to the next round. It will be Scorpio Sky and Kazarian into the semifinals against the team that will be facing later, Jurassic Express and Lucha Bros. Actually, no, I'm sorry. That would be a Private Party. No, they face Dark Order next week. So it's going to be Dark Order versus SCU. Of course, if we want to see the team of if Lucha Bros get past the Jurassic Express, next week, we would see them go up against either Dark Order or SCU, which I'm picking SCU. God, heaven forbid we get the Dark Order in any other match, because they are absolute bores in this gimmick. We go to a commercial break, and it's picture-in-picture again after the first match, which I still don't understand why they're doing this. But we see Santana and Ortiz enter the building. They're like, Ortiz just looks like an absolute maniac. He's got his hair like braided out and everything. He's got that like maniacal smile, like facial features. In the middle of this, like in the match that they had here, he's biting the rope. He's like getting the rope in between his teeth and just chomping down. So it's Santana and Ortiz, and we see John Silver and Alex Reynolds coming down to the ring. I had no idea who these two were walking down to the ring, and they did let us know it was John Silver and Alex Reynolds. This was nothing but a squash match to help build up Santana and Ortiz, which is absolutely fine. So not much else I can say here. However, it was after the match. We see on the Tron, we see Jericho just they're doing exactly what I told you, and the pit bulls, they're going to beat everyone's ass, and they make a challenge for Full Gear. They want the Young Bucks. I saw this coming. I didn't know about it. I kind of figured we'd see it eventually. I didn't know if it'd be right away. But the Young Bucks versus Santana and Ortiz, proud and powerful, next at Full Gear, will be absolutely phenomenal. I cannot wait to see what this match is going to do, what these two teams can do. I've seen Young Bucks matches in this. I've seen Santana and Ortiz when they were LAX and Impact with the Lucha Bros. God, what I would love to see is, like, if the Lucha Bros, say they go all the way and they win the Tag Team Tournament. I'm not even going to talk about anything else right now. Say they go all the way, win the Tag Team Tournament. Not at Full Gear, but the pay-per-view after that. I would love to see the Young Bucks versus Pride and Powerful versus the Lucha Bros in a triple threat match for the Tag Team titles. That would be phenomenal. That would be absolutely insanity. But yes, Santana and Ortiz versus the Young Bucks at Full Gear. Now, the Young Bucks didn't accept or anything, but there is no doubt about it that we're getting that match. That is going to be absolutely fantastic. Two high-octane, high-flying, like, crazy-ass teams going 2-on-2 against each other. I cannot wait. I did notice too, like when they were coming out, Santana and Ortiz, I noticed right there is that the graphics, the lower third graphic for like the nameplates and stuff, the win-loss records have been blown up a little bit, so you can actually see them a little bit better. Because I remember last week, the week before that, and at All Out, it was just a tiny square off to the side on their names, but they seem to have blown them up now, so you could tell because they have like overall tag teams, trios, singles matches, and all that. So that's great to finally see that. Vignette of Brandy Rhodes. Brandy says he is one of the most intense and passionate people she has ever met, and knew when he told her that he was going to have this title match against Jericho, we would lose him for this time. To get prepared for it. Jim Ross talks about how Cody has to balance the upcoming match in his EVP duties while Jericho can solely focus on the match. We hear from DDP, Tony Schiavone, MJF says this is the most important match in Cody's career. Winning this title would validate his decision to leave the other company. Yes, he didn't say WWE, he said the other company. So, just hyping this stuff up. Awesome to see how they hype this up. MJF says this title match means everything to Cody. Speaking of title matches, which, again, awesome video package for this. I can't wait to see this match. Cody's not winning the AEW Championship. I don't see that happening anytime soon. Riho versus Britt Baker. I don't know what it is about the women's division. The women's division in AEW, it's their weak spot. Every company has a weak spot, whether it's be financial, creative, like one of the divisions, whatever it is. AEW's is their women's division. And I know Kenny Omega's working on his ass backstage to get the women's division to where it should be. Brandy's in there, of course. Austin Collins is also a part of that. It's just, I don't know what it is. It's just outside of the ending, which the ending for this match was absolutely fantastic. By the way, the finisher, the Rings of Saturn Mandible Claw that Britt Baker uses is now called the Lockjaw. So it's great to see that it actually has a finisher name or a name to it, because all finishers should have a name. But it's just like, this match was good. I'm not saying it was a bad match. Better than what she did with Nyla Rose when it comes to Riho. It's just, there hasn't been no knock out of the park type of match with the women's division. Now, and then like in NXT, we've seen Bayley versus Sasha Banks, to the Iron Woman match. Ember Moon versus Asuka, Nikki Cross, the Iconics, and Asuka in a fatal 4-way. Nikki Cross versus Asuka, Nikki Cross versus Shayna Baszler versus Ember Moon number 2. The first one wasn't as good as the second one, but we've seen awesome and memorable women's matches in NXT. AEW, honestly, none of these matches have been very memorable. They just haven't felt like they haven't been that good. And you have a Britt Baker, you have a Bea Priestley, you have an Allie. Allie has, I'll talk about that next time she wrestles, but it's just these matches, and they had a women's tag team match last week, and on AEW Dark, the first episode, which was Bea Priestley and partner versus Bea Priestley and partner versus Britt Baker and partner, both matches. And those matches weren't good either. I just don't know what it is about the women's division in AEW. It's just sloppy. It's just like, I don't know if any of these women can't mesh well together or something. It's just, I don't know what it is, but the matches just seem, it just seems like they need something in the women's division. I would have loved for a Sasha Banks to leave WWE, come to AEW, and be that one to take that women's division to the next level as Mercedes. I would love to see like somebody come into AEW and get this women's division to right this ship, because the women's division is the weakest part of this entire company right now. Not in talent, but in match quality. This was, of course, a much better match than what Nyla Rose and Riho did. This should have been your women's championship, the women's championship match 2 weeks ago to determine the first ever AEW Women's Champion. Basically, these two beat the hell out of each other. Ripcord elbow strike. Baker goes for the lockjaw. Tries for the Mandible Claw, but Riho has her mouth like sealed tight. She can't get that mouth open. Rio's fighting it off. Baker tries for it again, but Riho, in this, is able to flip her over into a sneaky 1-2-3 to retain the AEW Women's Championship. Post-match, Baker doesn't look happy, but she puts out her hand and they shake, celebrating. They said some words off a microphone, or at least Britt Baker did. So that is that. Commentary says Christopher Daniels suffered a stinger after getting a package power driver on the ramp from Pentagon Jr., but he is up, he is mobile, and he is fine. So good to hear that, because quite honestly, if you go back and watch the replays, I don't know how Christopher Daniels doesn't have a broken neck. That looked absolutely brutal. But speaking on the Lucha Bros versus Marco Stunt and Jungle Boy. As I said before, Luchasaurus out with a hamstring. They did want him to exacerbate it or make it even worse, so he wasn't on the show. I guess he was at a local hospital earlier. He was being evaluated at a local hospital as the show was going on. Majority of this match was Marco Stunt getting the hell beat out of him. We went to a picture-in-picture, and the entire time Marco Stunt is just getting his ass handed to him. Punched up, beat up, thrown up. There was a throwing, like he was deadlifted by Pentagon. Pentagon tossed him, and Ray Phoenix hit him with a dropkick while he was in midair. But Stunt does eventually get a tag into Jungle Boy. Pentagon Stunt with a suicide dive on the Pentagon. Jungle Boy with a back foot knee strike to Phoenix. Stunt with a 450 splash off the top rope, running shooting star press by Jungle Boy, cover 2. Pentagon ends up hitting Canadian Destroyer on Jungle Boy. He swings Stunt around by his hair and drops him to the mat. He does the arm breaker, which honestly I'm surprised did not break the guy's arm because Marco Stunt is a really small guy. And an arm breaker like that, which he sits down on their back, puts the one arm behind their leg, and just snaps the arm backwards. I'm surprised he didn't have a dislocated shoulder. Hits the package power the package power driver double stomp combo onto Marco Stunt for the 1-2-3. And Private Party, who was at ringside for this match, will face the Lucha Bros next week. Jon Moxley and Hangman Page and Pac versus Hangman Page and Kenny Omega. Before we got to this match, Pac was in the ring. Jon Moxley comes out. They show us him speaking earlier in the night. He says one injury isn't going to keep him down. The pecking order is still him at the top. He wants to mount Kenny Omega's head on his wall. Anybody writing me off after one injury, don't do that because things are just about to get even crazier. It was Kenny Omega's birthday, so when he came out, fans chanted happy birthday. For some reason, though, at the beginning of this match, Moxley and Pac turned their backs to Hangman and Omega. So my biggest problem with this match, when this match was announced, is that you have a big pay-per-view match coming up. Jon Moxley versus Kenny Omega. I don't want to see these two have any touching, wrestling moves, wrestling at all until we get to that match. Yes, I wish this would have happened in All Out just to get this match over with, so this match right now wouldn't be a big deal. But I want to see what these guys are going to do and, how much these guys interacted with each other in this match is, what are they going to do at the pay-per-view that supersedes what they did in this match? Because these guys, it wasn't just a Luthez press and a couple punches from one, flipped it over, another couple punches. No. These guys battled back and forth at the beginning of this match. Chops and everything. Page and Pac still fighting on the floor. Back in the ring, Pac tags in, eats a Kotora Crusher. Moxley's able to tag in through and chokes Omega with his boot in the corner. Coming to the end of this match. Moxley and Omega face off in the ring and start swinging these by Omega. Headbutts and massive layers by Moxley. That turns Omega inside out. Both Omega and Moxley then exit the ring, go under the ring and Moxley grabs the barbed wire bat that we saw last week, and Omega grabs the barbed wire broom that we saw from the week before as well. The referee is trying to tell him, don't do this. Moxley chases him off. The referee gets out, turns his back to the ring. He's like, I don't see anything. I don't think he has his hands in the air. He's like, I don't see anything. Nothing to see here. Everyone just mind your own business. Moxley smacks Omega with the bat. Pac comes in and is mad at Moxley's using a weapon in this match. He takes it back and throws it. He throws the other one. Looks like to cut his finger in the process. Moxley ends up flipping Pac off. Hits the Death Rider. Leaves, Pac slowly gets up and turns around into a buckshot lariat. Omega with a V-trigger, Deadeye, 1, 2, 3. Omega and Hangman Page are your winners. Fun match here, good match. Like I said, I wish they would have held off on Omega and Moxley in any type of wrestling capacity until we get to the pay-per-view. Before we get to the main event, though, we had some things announced for next week. Pac and Jon Moxley, after what happened in this tag team match, will be happening next week. That will probably be your main event. The Young Bucks will be in action against who? We do not know. Probably going to be a couple jobbers just like Santana and Ortiz. I don't know. I wouldn't really do a jobber for babyfaces, but whatever. Britt Baker will be in action in her hometown, which is in Pittsburgh. And then SoCal Uncensored versus the Dark Order and Private Party versus the Lucha Bros. This is going to be your semifinals before we go to West Virginia in 2 weeks, in which we will have the AEW World Tag Team Champions named for this company. And then we get the Chris Jericho versus Darby Allin Philadelphia Street Fight for the AEW World Championship. Now, when you think of a street fight, you think of pandemonium, you think of anarchy, you think of craziness, you think of just barbed wire bats and baseball bats and other shit just being tables, ladders, chairs, tacks, anything. This had to be the tamest and Like, I know they're on TNT, and this is why it went that way, but this had to be the tamest street fight I have ever seen. And usually when you think of a street fight, they're not fighting in the ring. They're fighting around the arena, up the stairs, down the stairs, to the back, to the parking lot. We didn't get any of that. They fought 95% of this match inside the ring. We saw a kendo stick. We saw a chair. And that was the only weapons that were used in this match. Not even the skateboard that Darby Allin rolled down to the ring to was used for this match. Basically, what happened to the end of this match is Darby Allin, towards the end of this match, had his hands taped behind his back. Now, for majority of these guys, majority of wrestlers, getting your hands taped behind your back, you are fucked. Not Darby Allin. This guy still is a danger to you with his hands taped behind his back. He was getting thrown around left and right. But then he gets out of the way. He dodges Jericho and hits a second rope, no-handed moonsault. Cover gets a 2. He does a drop kick. Jericho's out to the floor. Darby Allin goes out with a running suicide senton dive. He gets back in the ring, climbs to the top rope, twisted senton, cover 2. Jericho drops Allin, then powerbombs him onto the skateboard. 2 count. Chair shot misses by Jericho. Allin kicks the chair into Jericho's face. Allin goes up to the top rope. Again, the referee is checking on Jericho as he's going up for the coffin drop. Jake Hager shows up out of nowhere, punches Allin right in the face. Jericho locks in the walls of Jericho. Allin has no choice but to verbally submit. AEW winner and AEW champion still, Chris Jericho. The inner circle, the rest of them head to the ring with a little bit of the bubbly. They crack open the bottles. Jericho celebrates, title in hand, and AEW goes off the air. What I'm liking about AEW for sure is that we are getting what's going to happen next week, and it's things that we want to see. Pac versus Moxley is a match that is pay-per-view worthy. For the first time, did Dean Ambrose and Adrian Neville ever face each other in a match? I don't think so. I have to definitely look that one up, but I don't think they have. The Tag Team Title Tournament, I'm picking the Lucha Bros and SCU because they set that up this week. I would be shocked if Private Party makes it. Dark Order, please, oh please, no. I don't want to see them wrestle again. And what else is there? Not much else really. AEW just doing things that are great. Darby Allin did get to shine a good bit in this match tonight. It's like I said, the match on a whole felt so tame because it was on TNT. You can't go all that batshit crazy in a fight, in a match really on TNT. Like we had the lights out street fight, the lights out match on Dark yesterday, and Kenny Omega won that one. That was crazy. That was more crazier than this match that you saw here. Yes, having his hands tied out behind his back was definitely added a little bit of space to it. But if you're going to name it a Philadelphia street fight, can we I know it's on TNT. Can we please get a little bit more of a street fight in it? And another thing about this match, too, is that there were rope breaks still. Yes, I know, time management, got to keep the show going on an even pace. But it's a street fight. It's a street fight. Street fight should be no DQ, no disqualification, no count out, falls count anywhere, no rope breaks, none of that bullshit. But Darby Allin and Chris Jericho did what they could with that match. Is it the ultimate star-making performance for Darby Allin? I don't think so. If you want to talk about getting somebody over, making a star, what the Young Bucks did for Private Party last week made them fucking stars. I don't believe that Darby Allin is a bigger star than he was going into the match. I could be totally wrong. Most likely probably am. But in the end, it was a good performance by Darby Allin, a good performance by Jericho, who brought back the Painmaker for the night with the face, with the little paint that he does with his Painmaker gimmick in Japan. So, he is the AEW champion still. Inner Circle got involved. We had no beatdowns or fights or anything. The show ended abruptly a little bit after the fight was over, after the match was over. All we have now is a build towards Full Gear, which will be happening in about 3 weeks' time. It's going to be creeping up here really, really fast. But that is your AEW review. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Twitter at The France Club. Find me on twitch.tv/The France Club. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for NXT, which, from what I've seen in the reports for that show, what they're going to be doing for next week's show, I'm not real happy about, but I'll talk about it then. Until then, my name is The France, and I'll see you guys later.